Please like and comment below and subscribe and share for more first-person encounters.
Large bat-winged cryptid encountered in Barrington, Illinois. This happened on September 27, 2019, and I am still so confused. I was driving home from work on a bright, sunny day. I get about a mile from my house. I live in a wooded area on northern Illinois about an hour outside of Chicago. As I'm making my way down an unoccupied street, this creature runs in front of my car about 2 car lengths in front of my car. It was definitely a bat creature of some sort. I could clearly make out the shape of bat wings. But it wasn't flying. It was running like a gorilla. It would extend its wings out in front of itself and push itself forward, just like a gorilla does when it runs at full force. This thing was also so black that looked almost flat. And it was huge. It was at least half the size of my dog, who is a 70-pound pit bull boxer mix. I tried to search for giant bats in the area, and I found some sightings of giant bats flying over Chicago over the last 2 years. I've also found some references to the Mothmen and the Jersey Devil, but I don't think this thing was as big as a man. And none of the stories I've read mention these giant bats running. However, I did learn that vampire bats are the only species of bats that run. And based on videos of vampire bats running, this creature moves in a very similar manner. So, now I'm nervous about letting my dog out alone. Any theories are appreciated. K.
Cryptid wing being observed by phantoms and monsters. Fortean research investigator, O'Hare International Airport, Chicago. I was driving to work on March 3, 2020, taking my usual route on Mannheim Road, and I'm talking to my wife on the phone. So, I'm talking, and I'm coming up to the intersection of Mannheim Road and Zemke Boulevard. On the right side of it is an old Enterprise rent-a-car lot that used to be there, but they moved it to the other side of the airport. The building is still there and everything. I'm talking as I pull up to the red light, and I saw what looked like a large wing being coming in, like it was either landing behind the building or landing basically on top of it. The reason I say it was landing is because it was coming down, and it looked like it had its chest out with its wings flared up, like it was trying to slow down enough to come in for a landing. I remember yelling out to my wife, "What the hell is that?" She's like, "What? What? What?" I told her what I was seeing. She said it could be a goose, and I said this is way larger than a goose. I've seen geese. Right now, I see geese all over the place here. There are geese everywhere. They're migrating. The street at the traffic stop is 5 lanes, and it was rush hour, so slamming on the brakes and trying to get a good look was an invitation to get into a wreck. I found a place to turn around and went back, drove around a few places. I couldn't get onto their property because it's sealed off. It's an old building, and I guess they're using it for storage now. At least one of the garages is used for storage of compressors or something, because there was an open garage and I could see inside, and there were mobile compressors. Last thing I needed was to have airport security all over me for trespassing. So I drove around, and at one point there was an opening where I could go in. I went in, took a few pictures, and quickly got out, trying to find this thing, and I wasn't able to find it. Honestly, this did not look like a goose. It was brownish-grayish, more on the brownish side, and it didn't look as big. It's not like some of the reports we've taken since we started investigating. This thing wasn't 6 or 7 feet tall, it was maybe, at best, 4 feet tall. The wings were membranous. The only way I can describe them, the only thing I could compare them to, they kind of looked like an imp's wings. I never got a really good look at the head. The sighting itself only lasted 1, maybe 2 seconds. I know it only lasted 2 seconds, but you're able to get a lot of information in that 2 seconds. I can honestly tell you that it had no feathers. It looked like it had no feathers on it, just membranous wings. It was far larger than what a Canadian goose is. Its legs were tucked up beneath it because it looked like it was coming in to land either on top of or behind the building. What I saw was basically the chest and the wings. What I got a good look at was the wings. They were completely outspread. It looked like it was trying to spread itself out so it could slow down for a landing. Manuel Navarrete.
Crowman seen hovering above Chicago Washington Park high-rise. Hello, A friend shared an NPR article about the Mothman sightings in Chicago, and I was shocked when I came upon your website and research. On November 1, 2015 around 10 a.m. I was chatting on the phone with a good friend, minding my business making plans for brunch, when I glanced out my bedroom window and immediately noticed something out of place. A very large crow man hovering over a high-rise apartment building about a block away from my house. A man, jet black from head to toe, upright hovering in the air about 5 feet above the Midway Plaza Senior Apartments on East 60th Street. For reference, this is a 17-story high-rise apartment building directly across the street from Washington Park on the south side of Chicago, miles from downtown, and not a lot of high-rises in the area. So I'm on the phone with my friend, but I go silent as I'm watching this thing hovering and kind of spinning around slowly over the building, and my friend on the phone starts asking me if I'm still there. I start describing to her what I'm looking at, and of course she thinks I'm crazy. By the time I get off the phone to try and take a picture, the thing starts to float away and move westbound behind some trees where I lost sight of it. I call my friend back, and she is trying to rationalize that I saw some sort of life-sized leftover Halloween decoration, flying 20 stories in the air like a balloon. I can't say exactly what I saw, as it was unlike anything I have ever seen or could even imagine, but it was alive and wasn't any damn balloon. The whole sighting only lasted about 60 seconds, but I got a good look at it from my third-floor window before it flew away. The thing had wings tucked behind it, but didn't need them to hover or move around. I wouldn't say it flew at all, it literally hovered in a standing position. It was jet black from head to toe, front to back. It had to be about 8 feet tall, and I could clearly make out a head, arms, legs, and wings folded behind it. There wasn't a single cloud in the sky, and the sky was a crisp bright blue. It was so sunny that its jet black body looked iridescent with shades of blue and purple, reflecting off of it in the sunlight, as it did a slow 360-degree turn. From the iridescent color and wings, I can best describe this thing as a crow man. It almost looked like how the feathers of a crow looks iridescent from where I was standing. At the time I googled crow man sightings in Chicago, and couldn't find any other sightings on the internet to justify what I saw, or help anyone believe me. I only told about 3 to 4 close friends and family members, and they just kind of joked, filed it away mentally, and we all moved on. Well, fast forward to about a week ago, and one of the friends I had told my sighting to sends me this NPR article where I came across your collection of other reported sightings, each sounding eerily similar to what I saw. Now, I'm a busy college-educated mompreneur raising 2 little ones, with a demanding career and a side business, and don't have time for any visits from the men in black, the government, or a creepy Mothman seeking revenge for snitching on him. But how is this not national news or a public safety alert? I literally started crying when I clicked on the map in that article and read a reported sighting from Washington Park in 2011, just a few hundred feet away from the high-rise building where I saw it in 2015. For reference, Washington Park is 372 acres, and this particular area is pretty close to the large pond on the southeast side of the park by 60th and Cottage Grove. Wish I had more to share, but honestly I was too terrified to run outside after this thing to take a picture. It had wings and didn't need them to fly. I wish I could go back to minding my business, but really hope you can expose what is going on here. Let me know if you have any questions. M.
Owl-like wing being encountered in Alsip, Illinois. I recently came across your article on the Chicago Owlman. I, along with another witness, have seen this creature, or one similar. This was somewhere between 2001 to 2004. We were quite young at the time. This was in Alsip, Illinois, right by the intersection of 128th Place and Cicero. I even have screenshots of when I casually brought up the encounter again in 2015 to the other witness to corroborate. We both remember the encounter vividly. I had only a silhouetted view, but I can best describe the creature as large, about the size of a large human man. massive wings that it held up in a defensive pre-flight posture out from its sides, and a human-like head that seemed to have no distinguishable features, save for two very large, almost glowing yellow owl-like eyes. The creature sifted through the hedge bushes and came up to the bay window of the room we were occupying, making a loud noise as it pressed its body up against the window, its eyes staring right at us in the room. This creature nearly took up the bay window's whole space, and it stayed there once it hit the window, unlike an owl who accidentally flew into it. It was no regular owl. Much too large, as the silhouette was massive and the eyes were the size of baseballs. Being young, my friend and I quickly vacated the room in terror and alerted my sleeping father, who immediately searched the perimeter of the house, yet nothing was found. I nearly teared up reading your witness accounts on the website, as it struck very close to home for me, as the image is still burned into my mind to this day. If you need any more information, don't hesitate to contact me at any time. My experience has been a huge point of interest in my mind ever since it happened, and I would love nothing more than to assist you in your investigation in any way. LA.
Red-eyed winged humanoid stares down witness in Park Ridge, Illinois. I was driving home north on Talcott Road at about 9:30 p.m. on the evening of Wednesday, October 30th. As I was approaching the intersection with Boardwalk Place, I saw something walk across the road. At first, I thought it was a deer, as we get them every now and again. That changed when this thing stopped in the middle of the road and faced me head-on. I panicked and came to a stop. That is when this thing spread out with what looked like enormous wings and screeched at me before bounding towards the woods. This thing looked like a 7-foot-tall man, thin and with two very large red eyes that were illuminated. My headlights were on this thing and it was solid black. It looked like it had skin and not feathers. The wings looked like they were attached to its back. I was scared half out of my wits, and there was no way in hell I was going to get out of my car and go after it into the woods. I slammed my foot on the accelerator and took off for home, where I told my husband about it. It was his idea that I report this to you. L.
This is Lon Strickler. If you like this program, it would help us if you would give it a thumbs up. Then subscribe and click the bell icon so you get notification when we upload new first-person encounters. We have many more to come very soon. And by the way, if you have a suggestion or an experience of your own, please leave a comment.